So today we're going to be analysing a mock interview I did with Chiamaka. She's a gap year student. She studied maths, economics and computer science for A-level, and she's applying to project management and finance apprenticeships at companies like Amazon, BAE and Santander. And fun fact about our favourite author is James Patterson, who I've heard of, but I've never actually read any of his stuff, so that's cool. And today we will be targeting an Amazon project management mock interview. Okay, these are the questions I'd be sort of preparing for. When you do mock interviews, you want to have a company in mind, because with mock interviews, especially with companies like why did you apply to this company, there's obviously company specific research you've had to done. So Amazon was the one we put in mind for this interview today. So without further ado, let's get into the interview and let's just go through the analysis of this interview. Why do you think you'd be a good fit for this role?
I think I'd be a good fit for this role because I bring different skills and qualities, such as being able to analyze different tasks. Because as a project manager, we have to be able to work together with a team. You have to be able to analyze data and being able to give feedback in order to make sure that what is being managed is able to flourish. And I feel like I have those qualities because I'm very good with people. I'm able to work in a team. I'm able to make sure that we're all aiming to achieve a common goal and not just put my ideas in front of others. And I'm also able to look at data and understand how that data can be manipulated in order to achieve certain goals and tasks. So that's why I think I'd be a good fit for this role, using all the qualities that I've been able to develop over the past few years. I'll be able to bring it to the company, some new ways, and make sure that the company is growing, and also making sure that I flourish in that role for the company.
Okay, so basically this is what Chiamaka went through. Analyze data, give feedback, good with people, work in a team, achieve a common goal, able to look at data. But it was all sort of just conglomerated in, that's definitely not a word, but it was like combined into just one big sort of mess of a paragraph. It was all just put together, which means it's not really clear when you're listening to that as a recruiter to pick out what these strengths are necessarily, because it's all just sort of strewn together. So what I do is two things. Number one, in terms of structure, I would separate it out into separate points, okay, for each of these, okay? One which is communication, okay, one which is analytical and looking at data, one which is teamwork, one which is willingness to learn, or whatever 3 or 4 strengths you want to use, okay? And I'd like, rather than just conglomerating it into one paragraph, I'd separate it out. So my first strength that I have is communication, okay? Then talk about it. The next strength I have is I have analytical skills and ability to look at data. Talk about it. Now, the next strength I have is team, and because it's in specified sections, now the recruiter can actually listen to you and look through me like, okay, she has communication, okay, she has analytical skills, okay, she has teamwork, okay, she has willingness to learn. Rather than this, where it was sort of like I was trying to work out what you were doing, but it was all sort of conglomerated really together. It wasn't very clear at all. So that's point number one. I'd separate it into points. And then number two is when you have each of these points, give examples of as evidence, because anyone could basically do this sort of generic answer here, which is I can analyze data, I can work in a team, I'm very good with people. How do I know you're very good with people? How do I know you can work in a team? You have to convince the recruiter that essentially you're the best at people compared to the other candidate who wants the same job as you. You need to show that you're better with people, or you can work in a team better. How do you show that through an example? Okay, so the way you'd answer this question is, the first strength I have is communication. I really enjoy talking to people and I have strong interpersonal skills, whether that's with people I know or whether that's people I don't know. And one time I developed these was when I had to give a presentation to 300 people in my school. I had to make this presentation last minute. I was only given about 2 hours warning before making this presentation. But this was something I did, and I was kind of scared to do at the start, but now it's something that I've developed, and I'm now more confident public speaking. It's given me those strong interpersonal skills. Something like that. Right, okay, so you say communication, maybe say one sentence about communication, and then go into an example of a time when you've developed your communication, okay? And then you go into the next one, analytical data, okay? And the time I did this was when I had this work experience and I had to do this, so this data skill is going to be useful for being a project manager and looking at different data to make decisions, okay? So that's what I do there. Make it separate points so it's very clear what you're referring to. And number two, give examples as evidence. Let's move on to the next question. What challenges do you think you're going to face in the project management team here at Amazon?
So what challenges do I think I'm going to face? I think it's challenges of the amount of work that may have to be done, because I know that Amazon is a fast moving and growing company, and it's also really a technology-based company as well, I think. So there'll always be constant growth, constant change. So I think keeping up with that change, being up to date with the latest software technology and new methods that change all the time, I think that's going to be a challenge. But I also challenge myself to make sure that I'm up to date and not being left behind in the growth process at Amazon and in the role as well, because in project management we have to manage this technology and these changes that are coming about. We are the ones that are in control of that change, so that might come as a challenge to me, to different people in the role. So being able to keep up to date with the growth changes and all the different like innovative ways and innovative styles of doing things is something that I would have to learn to keep up with, and just some challenges that I may face but that I'm ready to meet up to and make sure that it doesn't stop me from progressing in my day-to-day activities.
And what do you Chiamaka did it at the end there, basically with this question, what challenges do you think you're going to face? You want to give the challenges, but then explain that you're well equipped to do them. Okay, but I'm well equipped to handle these challenges due to my work ethic and willingness to learn. That's the kind of thing you say there. But what you'd add on to what Chiamaka said there was you'd also give examples. Again, with a lot of the time, you don't want to just say it because they might not believe you. You need to give evidence. Okay, so these are challenges. Could be the amount of work. I know it's a fast-moving company, keeping up with new technology, but I'm well equipped to handle these challenges due to my work ethic and willingness to learn. For example, it was in year 13 when I had to learn this new thing, and I did this or whatever. Then you give your specific example. Okay, so whenever you say something, give an example. That's what you'd add on to the end there. Now we're going to go into some sort of semi-related questions.
Stop me from progressing in my day-to-day activities.
And what do you think you're going to be doing in this role?
In the role of a project manager,
Yeah, that's right.
so we're going to be doing stuff like so if different projects that Amazon may have, we're going to be the ones in charge of these projects, making sure that it's carried out well, making sure that the quality of the project is like meeting the standards required. We're going to, analyze the risks that may be carried out when doing this project. So knowing whether to make one choice or the other is better to make sure that the project comes out well. And we're also going to ensure that the different departments in the company are working together to achieve a common goal, which is the success of any project that is set before us. And yeah, those are some like roles that we'll have to carry out as a project manager, yes.
Okay, so Chiamaka missed two key things off here, which I would recommend for project management, which is also you have to like sort of manage the program and manage the cost of it, and probably change management as well. Those are like sort of subsections of project management. I know a bit about it. That's not my point here. The point I want to say is basically for everyone who's applying to this company, to a company, sorry, anyone who's applying to an apprenticeship, the question like, what do you think you'll be doing? What do you expect to be doing in this role? That's quite a difficult one because there's not much information out there and it's not very clear. This is where the best website for it is comes to Institute for Apprenticeships. Search up here and find the degree apprenticeship you're looking for, whether that's project manager, whether that's DTS, and it'll look something like this. Whether it's either of these, go and have a look because there's so much information here telling you what a software engineer is, what an IT consultant is. So in particular for Chiamaka here, she can learn more about what a project manager does, all this sort of stuff here, and she can learn about like the things I mentioned there, like change management, whatever I said, program, cost, risk management. She said risk, all that sort of thing. But this is where you can basically, my point is she missed a couple of things, but what she could do is come here, and here you'll have a full understanding from Institute for Apprenticeships about exactly what you need to do in your one there. So that's what I'd recommend for everyone. Go to that Institute for Apprenticeships website to help you prepare for that question. What do you expect to be doing in this role? You might find challenging. And is there anything to do with being part of a team that you think you might find challenging?
Um, could you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So, is there anything to do with specifically being part of a team and working with a team that you might find challenging?
So that I would say previously I may have found that challenging working with people. As you know, sometimes joining the company, coming together with new people, I might be a bit shy. But my experience from my current job has taught me that everyone is new to the same position as well, or just welcoming and friendly. So I feel like I'll be able to work with people now as I have learned a lot of growing and being interactive. And even though in a team, people will have different ideas, different opinions, just different ways of thinking and different perspective. I feel like I would still be able to express my feelings, but also still hear that of other people and still try to look for ways in which we can merge ideas or just work with ideas that in that time may be best for the team, but still considering everyone's ideas and not really being too um like too harsh or too like not accepting people's ideas. So I feel like I won't really have a problem with working with people, as I've learned a lot that working with people is actually what makes the team grow and achieve more results. Yes.
Okay, so the like macro structure of this was good, which was basically, yeah, a challenge could be working with people, but it's something that I'm good at because of whatever, and that's how you want to do it. Just a few things I changed. It was quite generic in terms of like I'm gonna be okay with this because of my current job. It was sort of like, yeah, I've grown a lot from my current job, so I'm gonna be fine working with people. Quite generic. What I'd say is I'd phrase it like this. So in my current job, which is a sales assistant at Tesco, which I've been working at for 3 months, this is where I continually have to deal with clients, have to deal with new customers who come in the door and ask me questions, and I have to deal with their customer service issues. And doing this has made me interact with a lot of people, which means I've now developed those interpersonal skills. I've now developed those communication skills, so I'm better at doing this. So it's like more of a sophisticated answer like that rather than just I have grown a lot from my current job, so I'm ready to interact. It's like specifically, this is what I've done, this is what it is. It's like more specific, basically, rather than something generic. And name drop those skills. Okay, don't just say I won't have a problem working with people because I'm like good at interacting with people. Be like, I've developed communication skills, I've developed interpersonal skills, I've developed confidence. That's the things I'll change that answer. Make it more specific about your current job. Okay, going into specific detail about what it is you do, and then specifically name drop the skills this has helped you develop. It's helped you develop communication skills, confidence, interpersonal skills, which are going to help you with interacting with new people within the team. Okay, that's how you do it. So the macro structure was good, but I'd go into those details just to make it more of a compelling answer.
Thank
Tell me about a time when you went above and beyond to learn a new skill.
Okay. So a time when I went above and beyond to learn a new skill was during the lockdown. So during the lockdown, we had a lot of time on our hands. And for the first few weeks, I'd say that I wasn't being too productive. I wasn't really doing much because I felt like I was still quite young back then. And I just felt like it was a time for me to just sit down and relax. But my mom spoke to me and told me that there's a lot that can be achieved because we didn't know how long we're going to be staying at home, was indefinite. So I took up the challenge to learn a few new skills, which is where I gained my Microsoft Excel skill. So during this time, I decided to learn Microsoft Excel because I was quite conversant with Word and PowerPoint, just a little bit, but I wanted to um, really improve my skills in Excel because Excel is something that is used widely today. Spreadsheets are used every single day to handle data. So I made sure to watch different YouTube videos. I signed up to Udemy. I signed up to different courses online. I made sure to just make sure that I was learning a lot when it came to Excel, and I was able to learn different things, learn all these quick tips and tricks that make working with Excel easier, learn how to use different equations, different tools, different tasks to help like with calculation and handling data. And during this time, I was also able to start my own teaching course. I started teaching like 5 to 10 year olds how to use Excel in a very easy way. And I was also able to handle some of my mom's projects because she was still working from home. And I was able to help her deliver projects faster because I had gained those skills in Excel, which I'm sure that I'll be able to bring to the role as a project manager as well. So this is the time I feel like I really went over and beyond to make sure that during the lockdown, I wasn't just, just laying at home not doing anything, but I was also gaining different skills, such as improving my Microsoft Excel and just spreadsheets in general, working with spreadsheets in general. This is a time that I was able to work really well in improving my skills.
Okay, so this is a star question: situation, task, action, result, and we can add relate on there as well because that's that sort of extra thing you can do there. So first thing with the situation, the way Chiamaka sort of described this was during lockdown, I wanted to relax and do nothing, but my mum told me I should do some courses, so I did some courses. Yeah, sure, that's probably what happened. Like, I believe that, but you don't need to say that because then, like, you're sort of telling them, like, I wasn't going to do any courses, but my mum forced me to. It's the only reason I did it. It's like you're not presenting yourself as a kind of proactive person who's going to go out there and learn new things. It's just your mum forced you to do things. So that's probably true, but I wouldn't go out of my way to go and mention, oh, I wanted to just relax and do nothing during lockdown. My mum forced me to do a course. No, I'd just say, so it was during lockdown, and I wanted to develop myself and use the opportunity for the time I had. So I went and gone and learned Excel. Like, that's what I'd say. You don't need to mention the thing about your mum forcing you because you're just lowering yourself down for no reason. Okay, you don't need to say that. So in terms of the actions, just a quick one. Chiamaka said she signed up to Udemy. Just add in like a phrase, which is a course website, because a lot of the time when you mention these specific things like SpringPod, Udemy, a lot of the recruits actually don't know what these websites are. So if you just say, "Oh, I did some SpringPod," they're gonna like, "What are you talking about?" "Oh yeah, I signed up to Udemy. I don't know what that is. Is that like a DVD website or something?" Like, they're not going to know what it is. So just whenever you say a website or even like a random company, or just when you say anything random, you need to have like a descriptive phrase. Okay, so don't just say, "Oh yeah, so in my current job I do this, this, this." No, do in my current job, which is a sales assistant at Tesco. Okay, or I signed up to Unity, which is a course website. Okay, or I did a course on SpringPod, which is a website where there's a whole bunch of work experience programs which you can do. Okay, that's the kind of thing. Just give a descriptive phrase. They know what Udemy is here. For the actions, what you could probably do is just to make this even more compelling is give examples. So Chiamaka said the phrase, "I learned how to use lots of different functions." Give examples. Maybe I learned VLOOKUPs. Maybe I learned macros. Maybe I learned this. Right. Just the more specificity you have in your especially the specificity in your actions that you have in your star questions, the more compelling it's going to be. Okay. What I do as well is I talk about mindset again, and I name drop some keywords like growth mindset and drive to learn. So in that very situation bit at the start, talking about lockdown, that's where I'd put in those keywords. So it became lockdown, and I personally have a growth mindset. I love learning new things. So I wanted to take this time to go and develop myself and learn a new skill. And I knew Excel wasn't something that I was comfortable with, so I went and took it upon myself to go and learn Excel. Yeah, and you're using those key phrases: growth mindset, willingness to learn, drive to learn, because those are the words they're looking for, and it's easier if I tick them off. You're sort of implicitly applying, you kind of have the growth mindset, but just cut out the middleman, okay, and just say it explicitly, okay. And final thing would be to add in a relate section. Chiamaka did a bit of a sort of like related to the job role. I think she said Excel would help me as project management or something like that, but I think you could do like an even more powerful relate section, which is basically at the very end of your answer, you'd say something like, "Overall, this scenario taught me the importance of having a growth mindset and having a willingness to learn," and that's what I bring to Amazon. I know it's something that's really important at Amazon. I know you have one of your values, which is to learn and be curious, to always develop yourself, and that's what I'd be doing at Amazon. I'd always been trying to learn new technical skills, positively receiving feedback and seeing where I could improve, and that would help me be an effective project manager at Amazon. So that's the time when I went above and beyond to learn a new technical skill. Exactly that example, skip back 15, 20 seconds if you need. That is probably the best way you can end a star question, which is you have a relate section talking about the skills you learn and how that's going to help you in the role, and then have a nice concluding sentence to end it all off. So that's like literally skip back. That was a model answer. Congratulations, Owen.